And right now, joining me is Bobby Lennox of the OSA Dino Lopez of Oakville Soccer Club. Guys, thanks for joining me right here. A bunch of things on my mind that I want to talk to you gentlemen. A wealth of experience from both of you. We'll do it quick, and we'll get the information on as best we can. Bobby, let's talk about parental behavior on the sidelines, really getting on the referees in certain situations, maybe opposing coaches, maybe opposing players. How do we deal with that today in 2013?
That's a great question, Anthony, and as a parent myself, I understand the passion. Soccer's a wonderful game and it instills passion in parents. They want the best for their children, for their children's teams. And I think it's basically trying to remove some of that stress. We don't want to remove the passion, but we want to try and remove the stress from the parents and understand that for their children to stay in the game for a long period, they must enjoy playing the game. And as a young player, is it best to see mum and dad jumping up and down on the sidelines? It could be quite embarrassing for the child to witness mum and dad's behaviour like that. So as part of the education process, I believe that explaining to parents, educating parents that for little Johnny or little Mary to play in the game longer, making that experience positive and rewarding for them. And that may mean curbing that passion in the parents' behaviour.
Well said. Dino Lopez, the biggest club in Canada. How do you handle this? Do you have meetings before the season starts and try to handle this?
Well, it's an ongoing process, obviously, and you have to evolve. Right now, we've come out, just this year, we've approved what's called a friendly fan policy, which is not easy for me to say, but it really is about what is proper sideline conduct. I think education, communication has to happen repeatedly. People change, parents change, teams change, so you've got to have an ongoing discussion with the parents about what is appropriate behavior. As Bobby said, people get into the games and they get into what's happening with their child. And quite often they forget what proper etiquette is. So as long as you're having an open conversation with the parents on a regular basis and there are clear guidelines and policies, I think you have a better chance of curbing it.
As a former player, the next question will start with you. Win-at-all-cost mentality. How are you talking to your coaches and to your parents about really eradicating this win-at-all-cost?
I hate to use the same answer, but it really is about education and communication. Once again, I think what we have now with the LTPD framework and a lot of the communications coming from the OSA really support skill development, player development, and player-centered approach, as opposed to this team-centered, we've got to win approach. We've embraced it at Oakville Soccer Club, and I know that there are a lot of great soccer clubs out there within the province who are now embracing what's happening at the provincial level and nationally. So the way you do it is you hire good coaches, you educate good coaches, and you make sure that you align with what's going on with LTPD.
Bobby, win at all costs. It's a dangerous situation. Coaches have to win. They're under the gun. If they don't win, players get poached. They go to the better clubs. How do you handle this?
Yes, again, it's a great question, and I wish I had a 100% answer. I think one of the things we have to do is somehow shift the focus. What is winning? What does winning look like in a youth soccer game? Is it the numbers on the scoreboard, or do we use a different measure of success? And again, we're repeatedly talking about education and communication, but it's somehow shifting that focus that we may not win the soccer game on the old-fashioned scoreboard method, but can we win in different ways? How we play the game, the behaviour of the parents, the behaviour of the children, focus on maybe keeping the ball retention, focus on how we play the game, the style of play. So again, trying to shift the focus. Yeah, we want to win, but can we win in other ways? So a scoreboard is one method, and it's an easy method, an easy way to measure the game, but there are other ways to do that, Anthony.
The next question is this, Bobby. I've been around the game for a number of years like yourself and Dino. I'm a parent of two boys, and I've been to different clubs. Still yet, in this province and in this country, we have no identity from club to club. It looks like, to me, all the same. When are we going to get this identity with different clubs?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, trying to create, I guess, a style of play for a club. So that actually goes back, I would think, to the technical staff in the club, the technical director who lays out the direction for the club, the philosophy of the style of play for the club, and educating the coaches. It's difficult because to create a good brand and a good style of play, you might have to give something up. and that typically would mean on the scoreboard. So again, changing that focus. This is how we want to play, and as we learn how to play, we're going to make mistakes, guaranteed, but in the end run, we'll be able to create a good style of play. The players will enjoy it, we'll have an identity for our club, and that would go on into provincial programming and hopefully up into national programming too, Anthony. So again, it's a long-term process, starting with the technical direction at the club.
Well said, Dino. You come from the biggest club in Canada, and if I were to put my two boys in your club, do you have a style? Do you want a style? Are you going to implement one? Because it is, I think, important that finally clubs start implementing styles.
Well, I think your two questions are connected. You talked about win at all costs versus style of play, and really what we're striving for is style of play. And I think that starts with style of player. So Bobby, with his new position as a Grassroots development manager, that's where it starts. If you don't have the technical development from U8 to U12, you're not going to be able to implement a style of play that you want to from U13 and above. So I think that what we've done is shift a lot of our, at Oakville, and other people have done this as well, shift a lot of our focus and our resources down to U8 to U12 to make sure that technically the teams are able to implement whatever style you're going with afterward. At Oakville, over the last 2 years, we've now played a 4-3-3 throughout the entire club. We've gone through what we should look like team shape when we're defending, what we should look like in terms of team shape when we're attacking. Style of play is not something you can switch on and off with a light switch, right? There's coaching development that has to happen, player development that has to happen, and eventually, as those players grow into this system, you hope that people will look at our club and say, okay, that's an Oakville kid, and that's an Oakville style, right? And that's the hope. And this isn't revolutionary. That's not something that we're coming up with, but I think it's something that everyone's striving for.
Great. Last point is this, facilities. You're in the biggest club in Canada, Oakville Soccer Club. You're a taxpayer. Many of your parents that put their kids there are taxpayers. You're the biggest club. Are you guys speaking to the town of Oakville? Are you speaking to the province to get more facilities? Because when hockey parents talk, Dino, stuff happens. Soccer parents talk, not much happens.
Yeah, so I won't go out on a limb with regard to soccer versus hockey parents, but I will say this. We have an issue in many great soccer hotbeds within this province where we have too many clubs, and because of that, politically, these towns and cities have to now cater to 10 or 12 or 15 clubs. What happened in Oakville is we've got, one big club, one relationship with the town. That's enabled us to build a facility that's phenomenal. And in the time that we built that facility, our sessions have gotten better, our players have gotten better, the overall club environment has gotten better. Building that relationship is a tough thing. Even in Oakville, we could use another one. And if the mayor's watching, please build us another one.
Absolutely. With all due respect, you can't say it, but I will. They're the biggest club. Build them a little stadium, 2,000-3,000 seats. They need that. Bobby, we'll close it up very quickly with the same thing. Facilities. We need more facilities. And I want more grass facilities. I don't mind the turf because of our climate, but we need more grass facilities. We're playing in CONCACAF, are we not?
Yeah. It's again a great point, and it's something we have to work at studiously with our municipalities, school boards as well. They're the owners of the facilities. And part of my role, Anthony, as we move forward, is working with the municipalities, working with school boards, trying to improve the facilities we have. We have some facilities that could be better than they are. So understanding budgets is an important part of that. But working with municipalities, being a resource, how we can reconfigure fields to meet our new LTPD game formats. So things like 5v5, 7v7, 9v9, and hopefully through lobbying of the correct people, getting in touch with the decision makers and putting our pitch to these people that we can improve the facilities we have and increase the inventory of the facilities we have.
Guys, thanks for your time. Bobby Lennox of the OSA, Dino Lopez of Oakville Soccer Club, Technical Director, two guys that care and guys that want to see a difference. Thanks again for joining us here on Touchline.